going on, everyone? The SPY is currently having lots of trouble crossing above this trend line right here, but we're going to go into a bit more detail about that. We're going to go over the SPY, the Qs, the IWM, the other crypto market, dollar, crude oil, and every other stock you guys wanted me to do technical analysis on. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, here's the SPY. As you know, a few days ago, I said that we were outside of the lower level of the Bollinger Band, which is a very oversold scenario to be in a bull market. So I said we will most likely bounce out of that, and that's exactly what happened. 418.25 was resistance. I said once we cross over that, we're going to fly. We ended up flying. Then I said 422.82. 422.82 ended up crossing above, and things looked great, right? But now what's happening is we are beginning to have trouble crossing above this trend line right here. And this is a trend line that is from October 2019, and it's also this trend line here at the end of May. So it is two trend lines literally crossing over each other and acting as very clear resistance currently for the SPY. So the level of resistance for the SPY tomorrow that needs to cross above for this trend line to be taken over is going to be approximately 423.72. So the SPY needs to cross above 423.72 for us to cross above this level of resistance that we've had trouble crossing over for the past 2 days. All right. So obviously we had a huge rally these past few days. The MACD on the SPY went from extremely oversold to it's now beginning to look like it's about to cross above, which is still a very bullish sign. Right here, the blue line crossing above the yellow line. That is usually a very, very bullish sign. It's a MACD bullish crossover. All right, so that's a good sign. But we are at resistance. So this resistance needs to break. And then this would be a valid bullish crossover on the MACD. But what could end up happening is we could end up, consolidating a bit right here. Remaining above 421.50 and 422, potentially consolidating just a bit, giving enough room for the SPY, giving enough time for the SPY to really get more fuel and then cross above. But things have been extremely one day we're super red, the next day we're super green. So let's see what happens here. Tomorrow we can easily cross above 423.72, and this won't even be a conversation to be had. But that is the level that we need to cross above. The level that the closest resistance that we need to cross above is 422.82. And then we can start thinking about crossing above that trend line, but we're currently below 422.82 as well. So that level needs to be taken out as well. The level of support is going to be obviously this lower trend line here, which is approximately 422, like I said. So 421.50 to 422 needs to hold as support. But if this ends up breaking, then what might end up happening is, again, as we've seen in other stocks, we can create somewhat of a bull flag and retrace back down. So what may end up happening is we could make a Fibonacci retracement on the shorter term. So as you can see, a very, very bullish case would be if we were to only touch the 0.23%, the 23.6% fib at 421. But what usually ends up happening is we do retrace back to the 38.2% fib or the 50% fib. So 420.50 it's the next very, very important level of support. If we end up, failing here tomorrow, right, and consolidating a bit, falling back down to the 38.2% fib level right here, we could end up creating a bull flag, and then breaking above that bull flag would send us to new all-time highs on the SPY. Okay, so so that's currently what we're going to be watching on the SPY. All right, aside from that, the SPY made a very, very nice reversal today. The IWM, let me go into the IWM now. The IWM, I said 228 was resistance. right? And it's clearly, it was the indice that led today. The Nasdaq did not lead as much as the IWM did today. So as soon as we broke 228, we had a high of 229.96, which was amazing, right? So now the level of support is the prior level of resistance on the IWM, which is at 228.08. As you can see, the IWM is a large potential bull flag right here. We need to, break above this level here for it to confirm a bull flag to the upside. And this would send us obviously to 245 to, at least 240, which would be a very, very bullish sign. And this is an entirely very bullish pattern here. And the MACD is still about to cross above. The RSI is nowhere near overbought, which is a very good sign. Yeah, that overall 228 needs to hold. Clearly 230 is today's resistance. And then 231.50 is going to be the next level of resistance on the IWM. If we can break those two levels, then it's a very good chance that, and we close above those two levels, then it will be a very good chance that we have broken out of this bull flag and, we can continue on higher. So what might end up happening is if we do break out of the bull flag, right? And we cross out, what ends up usually happening is we either retest where we broke out from, or we come back down and retest the upper level of this flag to begin with. Okay. So now those are the two things that might end up happening. But usually when we do break out, we break out for at least 1 to 2 days of green days. All right. Then we retest back to where we broke out from, or we go even lower to where the upper level would be trading at. Okay. So yeah, those are the situational circumstances for what may happen on the IWM in the next few days. All right. Overall, it looks very, very bullish. Needs to stay above 228 in the short term to remain extremely bullish. And yeah, that's really it for the IWM. The Nasdaq made a new all-time high today as well. You can see the MACD just barely crossed above, which is a very bullish sign. It made new all-time highs, whereas the SPY and the IWM MACDs have not yet crossed above, right? You can see that. The Qs very slightly did, okay? So this could be a very good sign for what might end up happening with the SPY and the IWM. But if the Qs, end up falling here, then it might not look good for the SPY and the IWM as well. But currently, this is a bull flag that, this is a bull flag that broke out on the Qs. Yeah, we're actually going to new highs. So, yeah, that's basically what's going on the Nasdaq. If we can continue on higher, that is a very bullish sign. Otherwise, we just need to consolidate a bit here because we are at new all-time highs. It doesn't make sense for us to just continue going up in a straight line. There needs to be some sort of stagnation and a little bit of choppiness in this leading ETF and indice, and give some space for the SPY and the IWM to catch up as well. So I think that's what's going on in the Qs. Obviously, we're still very, very bullish on the Nasdaq. We can see this clear uptrend right here. We're still adhering to that uptrend. Many other tech stocks are still adhering to this uptrend. We broke out of the this bull flag that we created, which is also very bullish. So overall, the three indices look extremely bullish. The level of support that needs to hold on the Qs is going to be 346.38, which was this high right here from June 17th. And, aside from that, obviously the resistance is going to be today's high. And yeah, the next level of support would be 344.69. But yeah, overall, the Nasdaq, the SPY, and the IWM look extremely bullish. And that's that for the three indices. I'm going to go over the dollar now. All right, well, the dollar move seems to be playing out. So I said that, once we did have three really large green days, what I said would end up happening is we needed to consolidate a bit and hold above this support level at 91.6. So if we consolidated, held above this support level, then it would give time for the MACD here to cool off a bit and end up getting a bit closer. And it looks like we're getting to that level here. We're about to either cross down below and become oversold on the dollar, which would be bullish for the dollar, if we can still remain in a bullish structure. Because usually, excuse me, usually when you cross down below, that's bearish. But if we cross down below and we're still staying above 91.6, that is a very bullish and scary sign for the dollar. And it would be very scary for the other indices. So we need to continue watching how the dollar looks. Right now, it still looks very bullish, which is not a good sign. But yeah, let's just continue watching and monitoring the dollar. All right, it seems bullish. Yeah, overall. So yeah, that's the dollar. Let's go on to crude oil now. So crude oil made a new high as well today. It had positive news for the crude oil, the amount of barrels. But yeah, so that was overall a bullish news. The MACD is beginning to cross above, which is still very bullish. We're still in this rising wedge on crude oil. We traded outside of it a bit, but we closed within it once more. The MACD is looking to cross above, which is a very bullish sign. So what might end up happening is crude oil can start trading above this trend line. And yeah, let's just continue watching. But overall, when crude oil does well, the overall stock market does well, and there is no sign of a recession or a huge correction. So as long as crude oil is remaining intact, there won't be a major sell-off, bear market, recession correction on the overall market from the looks of it. Okay, so there is that for the overall indices. Let's look at one more thing I wanted to look at was the RUT, which is the non-24. It's like basically the SPX version of the IWM. And as you can see, it stopped at resistance at this 786 level at 230.04. So that is one thing that I just wanted to have everyone notice there, because on the IWM, we do look bullish because we crossed above 228. But on the RUT, we failed at resistance. So we failed at resistance on the RUT, but we are oversold still on the MACD, looking to cross above. So this level on the RUT, the 230 level, 230.04 level, needs to break. If that doesn't break, then most likely we're going to rely on the Nasdaq to help push up the SPY. And if the IWM does not also look bullish, then that is not going to bode well if the Nasdaq also stagnates here. Okay, so that's just the other thing to keep your eyes on. So yeah, there's that. Now I'm gonna go over the crypto markets. All right, just looking at this is just very perfect and beautiful. Okay, so these trend lines have been working out very nicely. I said that we would fall between 28 to 29. On Twitter, I said we would fall to 28, but on YouTube, I said 28 to 29, and we ended up falling to 28.6. So, I mean, I'm $600 off. That's fine, whatever. So, so as you can see, these trend lines have been working out very beautifully. What needs to happen for Bitcoin to remain bullish is, number one, the dollar needs to not look so bullish. The fact that the dollar looks very bullish is not good for Bitcoin. All right. Number two, purely the levels that need to hold on Bitcoin are going to be 32,000 and then obviously 30,000. So to remain extremely bullish, 32,000 needs to stay, remain as support. Okay. The next level, if you want to get really bullish, is going to be 33,136. If we can remain above 33,100, then we can end up breaking above this level here. But as you can see, this trend line here, this above resistance line, is that same trend line from back in November 2020 that if you put on the log chart, signaled this huge capitulation to the downside from, you know, a few weeks ago from 40,000 to all the way to 30,000 in one day. All right, so that's on the log chart. When you look at it on the non-log chart, that's the level of resistance that we're currently at. So that level of resistance for tomorrow is going to be approximately 35,174. So if we can cross above that and start trading above this level again, that's going to be amazing. But we have some you know, some work to do on Bitcoin. So yeah, those are the levels. Overall, if Bitcoin does not hold above these levels and it doesn't start trading above 35,000 or this trend line, then the bull market, you know, obviously I don't think that the bull market is over, but purely off of the levels, Bitcoin is not going to start trading higher unless it makes its way through this trend line here. And yeah, that's really it. Those are the levels that need to hold. It's still extremely bullish, which is a very good sign. The MACD is still extremely bullish. It is still very, very oversold. And the RSI barely moved. So you can see the difference right here. The MACD is extremely bullish. Very, very oversold. There means that there's a lot of room to the upside. Okay? And when we looked at the SPY MACD a few days ago, as you can see, the SPY's MACD right here, we were similarly very, very oversold, but we made a very nice bounce right here, right? Similarly to the IWM, we were very oversold, made a very nice bounce right here, but Bitcoin has yet to really bounce. It is trading above the support, but personally, I do think that we could end up bouncing only because we did find support. We're still extremely oversold. We're working off of the oversold criteria in a bullish way. We're still remaining at support, above it, breaking above levels of resistance. And yeah, it looks pretty good. We just need to see day to day how the MACD level, you know, updates itself and what happens to the price in conjunction. So yeah, overall, it looks bullish. I do think that it's going to cross above 35. But yeah, that's really it. It needs to cross above 35, and then the next level that it needs to cross above would be the 20 exponential moving average at 36,140. So yeah, there's that for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Ethereum. So obviously Ethereum's not doing well either because Bitcoin is, you know, having trouble. But, you know, we can see that Ethereum is also extremely oversold. It was trading outside of the lower level of the B band. So what usually happens is we do want to start trading back inside the B band. The RSI is very close to being oversold, which is, you know, a bullish sign of a, you know, potential bounce. If you look at, yeah, so Ethereum's RSI is much more oversold than Bitcoin's, which is very nice for a potential bounce. But we do see that, you know, it crossed out and it's trading outside of this triangle that it made. So it's really just dependent on how Bitcoin trades. Literally, the entire crypto market is dependent purely on how Bitcoin is going to trade. There, like, a lot of you guys wanted me to look at lots of different cryptos, but literally, literally, it all depends on Bitcoin. Bitcoin needs to hold above these three levels, and it needs to cross above 35. If it doesn't, then every other altcoin, long term, whatever, blah blah blah, none of it matters. As long as Bitcoin doesn't, you know, trade above 35 in the near term. So yeah, there's that for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Litecoin made a nice little bounce as well. XLM made a nice little bounce. It was trading at 20 cents. That's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. And now I'm going to go over all of the stocks you guys wanted me to do technical analysis on. Starting with Apple. All right. So Apple, we're still trading in this uptrend. We can still see it looks very, very bullish. It made a newer high today, but, you know, obviously because the tech sector didn't really do much, Apple didn't really do much because, you know, Apple has a large weight in the tech sector. So overall, you know, the level of resistance that needs to break is going to be 134.08 for Apple. The level of support that needs to hold is going to be 132.55. And yeah, aside from that, the other level of support is going to be approximately, it's going to be this trend line here at 132.80. So yeah, overall, Apple is literally in an uptrend. So yeah, looks pretty bullish. URNM. Okay, so well, it's very, very oversold, which is potentially a good sign, but it's working off of the oversold in a very bad way. So it was very, very oversold, and it started moving up already without really crossing above any resistance lines. So clearly 63.16 is a very, very strong level of resistance. If we cross over 63.16, then we can easily go to 64.71, which is the 38.2% fib level, which usually on a huge red move, right? We usually always tend to bounce back to the 38.2% fib level, which happens to be 64.71. But the fact that we are working off of this MACD oversold level so poorly is a bit worrisome to me. But yeah, we need to cross above 63.16, and then from there we could potentially hit 64.71 and then even 66, which is the 50% level. But it all depends on whether or not we can cross above 63.16, which is, you know, currently the issue. AMP USD. So similarly, obviously, the rest of the crypto market is taking a hit. So AMP is obviously also taking a hit, and it also, you know, it's also having trouble at the 23.6% fib level at 67 cents. So 67 cents needs to break. It's very, very oversold, which is a good sign. If we can break above 67 cents, then we can retest 78 cents, the 38.2% fib level. From 78 cents, we can end up retesting 86. So there are the levels on AMP. But again, this is a crypto. It all depends on Bitcoin. All right. Solana. This was huge. This was like a very, very bad move. But overall, Solana should do good as long as, you know, Bitcoin does well. It's a very nice project. It had a huge bounce from $20 all the way to huge bounce. But yeah, anyway, we can see that we're trading above the 23.6% fib level. So the level of support currently is going to be this level at 28.38. Now the next target is going to be the 38.2% fib level at 34.12. If 34.12 breaks, we can end up touching 38.75, which, you know, overall looks like a good chance of happening because we are extremely oversold. I'm bullish on the entire crypto market. It looks like we are bouncing. The only way we would really end up falling from here is if we get any really bad news for crypto in general, or if we work off of this oversold in the next like 2 or 3 days in a very, very bearish way. And that would be very, very bad for the entire crypto market in general. So what I mean by that is we're oversold here, right? And so remember, we saw the SPY. It was extremely oversold, and it ended up like we were very oversold on the SPY, and we ended up crossing above a bunch of resistance levels, and we're still oversold on the SPY, right? A bad way of the MACD working off is if Bitcoin, we ended up bouncing around here, and we still have not crossed above this clear level of resistance, but then we end up getting as close to crossing above on the MACD right here, right, as the SPY, and we have not yet crossed above any resistance levels. That would be a very, very bad sign for Bitcoin. And yeah, that's currently what we're going to be looking at. But yeah, we just need to see how it crosses. I mean, we just need to see how it works off the oversold, and whether or not it can cross above this trend line before it, you know, crosses above in a bullish way on the MACD. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, those were the levels on Sol. HIPA, ridiculously bullish. So obviously this is a bull flag. You know, looks like we crossed out of it today. The MACD is still oversold, which is really, really amazing. The RSI is not even you know, overbought yet, which is again spectacular. We had a very, very dignified move above 212, and honestly, it looks like the next target is going to be 230 or new highs. So if this does end up breaking, if 230 ends up breaking, we could end up going all the way up to 270, 280 very, very easily on HEPA. But yeah, overall extremely bullish move. This whole thing has just been bullish. We've been watching this for the past few days. Great stock. It looks really nice, primed for a move on HEPA. Cardano, same thing. Same thing as the rest of the other stocks. It's having trouble at 23.6% fib level. It needs to break above 138.5. You can see this downtrend line here. It's having trouble breaking above it. The downtrend line for today is going to be approximately 126, 127. It needs to break above. For tomorrow, it's going to be approximately 123. So yeah, 123 and then 127 need to break as resistance. You can see the MACD is still oversold. It's nice, but it all really depends on Bitcoin. If 138 ends up breaking, then we can go to the 38.2% fib level at 159. So yeah, there's that on Cardano. Bitcoin Cash, we can see that, similarly, we're not even close to trading at the 23.6% fib level at 683. There's also this downtrend line that still needs to break. So the level of resistance for tomorrow, according to this trend line, is going to be approximately 570. We're not even there yet, so it's not even really worth mentioning. But yeah, I mean, we're now very oversold on the RSI. The MACD is still oversold as well, but doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. And obviously it doesn't look good purely because of how Bitcoin is doing. So yeah, those are the levels on Bitcoin Cash. And if we can cross above the 23.6, we can go to the 38.2 at 866, but that would be a 100% move. So I don't think that would happen anytime soon. Hopefully it does. Honestly, hopefully it does. But yeah, if that happens, then Bitcoin needs to make like a 10, or it needs to make at least like a 15% move. But yeah, there's that on Bitcoin Cash. On Maps, very bullish move, very similar to HEPA. It looks like it's making somewhat of a bull flag here. It crossed above the 38.2% fib level. It bounced exactly off of the 20 exponential moving average, which is a very bullish sign. So you can see that it crossed above 1867. We closed above 1867, which is the most important thing. Now, the next levels of resistance are going to be 2004, which is the 23.6% fib level, and then 2224, which are the two next targets to the upside. We can still see it's oversold, which means that there is a lot of potential to the upside still. If the MACD was overbought, like it was over here, that would mean that it's starting to top out and it doesn't have as much room to the upside. But the fact that we're down here, still making green days, and remaining above support and crossing above resistance, very bullish on Maps. Looks really nice. SNPX, it's, let me check the volume on this. Yeah, I mean, it's not really, I haven't looked at the news on this, and it doesn't really look like it's very liquid of a stock. So, I mean, there are better stocks that you can trade. The MACD, you can see that because of its illiquidity, sorry, that's not even, I mean, it is a word, but yeah, I mean, we traded above the 38.2% fib level at 1034. That's nice, right? The next level of resistance is going to be 1130, but the spreads on this is probably like 20 cents wide. So, I mean, it's kind of weird. There are better stocks to trade, to be honest, other than this stock. 1130 needs to break. If 1130 breaks, then 1286 could be the next target. And then there is a gap all the way up to 1928. So people would be potentially targeting that gap to be filled. So yeah, I mean, regardless of how I feel about the stock, we're in an uptrend. It's currently, it clearly bounced. We're in an uptrend. 1130 needs to break, and yeah, 1034 needs to hold. That's basically it on SMPX. INOV, very similar to HEPA and MAPS. Making a bull flag. It had support. It's still oversold on the MACD. Made a huge green day. Crossed above the 38.2% fib level at 79 cents. The next target. Oh, and it stopped exactly at the 20 exponential moving average, which isn't so good. That's basically resistance. So 80 cents needs to break on INOV, right? But we did cross above the 79.39 level, which is bullish. But anyway, we need to stay above that level, and then the next target is going to be the 23.6% fib level at 83.87. If we can get to that level and break above, then obviously 91 cents is going to be the next target. Overall, looks very, very bullish. We did reverse here. It looks like it's making a bull flag. We're still oversold on the MACD. Huge green day today. Overall, looks pretty bullish as long as the rest of the indices can remain bullish. All right, so that's INOV. Overall, looks really nice and strong. Tesla had a huge, very, very strong day today. As long as it can hold above 652, this can potentially hit all the way to 670 very, very quickly. All right, so let me go ahead and... So one thing that we need to watch, though, is that we are outside of the upper level of the B band. All right, that's the only thing that I want you guys to take into consideration. So if we do really open outside of the upper level of the B band, what usually ends up happening is we reverse back inside. So, we reversed back inside here, but from here, we were very, very overextended outside of the B band. And we were along this level of resistance as well. So I'm not sure if that same thing will happen, but that's something to just be wary of. Okay, so now let me just hide this. So now the levels that need to be, the levels of resistance are going to be the 50% fib level at 663.92. And then from 663.92, 670 is going to be the next level of resistance. The levels that need to hold are 652 and this 38.2% fib level at 636. So those are the two levels of support, and then those were the two levels of resistance. Overall, Tesla looks really, really bullish. Let me go ahead and extend this. This was an uptrend line that then began acting as support. All right, so this was an uptrend line right here, and then it started acting as support for these 3 days here. So this level here tomorrow is going to be approximately 649.67. So there's another level of support that you can add into your charts as well on Tesla. But overall, looks very, very bullish. It might have a huge pop tomorrow, and then maybe like a push to 670, 675 tomorrow. And then, similarly to what happened April 13 and 14, we pushed outside of the B band. We opened up even higher, made a bit of a higher move, but then reversed back inside. So let's see if that happens on Tesla. Overall, looks very, very bullish for tomorrow. Huge move. mRNA. This is a very clear bull flag. This is literally very clean bull flag right here. Right? Lots of other stocks are making bull flags. mRNA looks like it's about to cross above. Oh, sorry. Let me look at Tesla's MACD. Yeah, the MACD on Tesla is also extremely overbought. So that's another, sign to be careful in the next coming days. But mRNA, it's still oversold. It needs to hold above 208.54, which is support, the 23.6% fib level. But yeah, if we can hold above that level, then there's no reason why we can't make new highs on mRNA and cross above 227.59. It looks bullish. We are oversold at support, but we're crossing above now, but we had a red day today. So that is a bit worrisome. But yeah, 208.54 needs to hold. If 208.54 doesn't hold, then 196.75 needs to hold. Yeah, the other important level is the 20 exponential moving average. which, as you can see, you know, when we did cross below 196.75, the 20 exponential moving average was acting as support, which is at 202.68. So yeah, 208.54, 202, and then 196.75 are the levels that need to act as support for mRNA. And yeah, overall looks very, very bullish. If we do cross above 227, then this can end up going all the way to like 270, 280. So yeah, mRNA looks very bullish as long as we can remain above those levels. Speaking of bullish, Nvidia looks just ridiculously bullish. I mean, there's nothing really else to say. It looks very, very overextended now. So if you don't have a position in it already, you know, if you didn't buy it as it was around 720, it's too late. So you need to wait for it to consolidate a bit. Look for it to get back to support. Look at the RSI. The RSI, it's completely overbought, and it's been trading overbought this entire month. So yeah, we made a bull flag, very momentary bull flag, and we crossed out. So yeah, the video looks very, very bullish. But, you know, it needs to consolidate a bit. I'd be more comfortable buying it around 730, 740. But yeah, clearly in an uptrend. Yeah, looks very, very clean. And yeah, that's the video. Looks very, very nice. The MACD is still overbought. I mean, still oversold, which is ridiculous. So yeah, there's the video. Facebook. All right, so this is interesting. So on Facebook, so not only are we at the upper level of this bull flag, we're also at a resistance level from before. So the levels that really need to break, as you can see, we did have a bullish crossover today. So, but we haven't, you know, we haven't gotten out of the woods yet. So the level of resistance that needs to break on Facebook for tomorrow is going to be approximately 342. 342 needs to break. If 342 breaks, the next level is going to be 343.42. Those are the two levels of resistance for Facebook. If we can cross above those two levels and then start trading above this trend line here, that is going to be ridiculously bullish and amazing for Facebook, because then that would confirm the bull flag break, and this would essentially mean that we have a target from right here, this pole to here, which is approximately a $40 move. We would end up moving all the way to at least 370, 375 on Facebook, which is, you know, pretty ridiculous. But yeah, those two levels of resistance need to break. And then, yeah, I guess the level of support that we need to hold is 337, sorry. So yeah, those are the levels on Facebook. Very similar to Peloton. Peloton, the MACD crossed above as well. But we are at, you know, levels of resistance here. So the levels of resistance on Peloton for tomorrow are going to be 117.82, 119.15, and 119.61. If we can cross above those, then that would also confirm and close above those and remain above, right? That would confirm the bullish breakout of this bull flag here. And that would mean that potentially we see another $30 move to around 140 on Peloton, which is, you know, really nice. So yeah, we just need to see how we respond around that. We can see that this trend line here was acting as a support back in March. And then now, you know, we extended it over multiple touches here, here, and here, and now here. So now it just needs to cross above. It needs to cross above 119.61. So yeah, there's that on Peloton. Overall looks pretty bullish, but we are, you know, we now became overbought on the MACD. We crossed above. So it's not necessarily a great sign. It doesn't really mean that Peloton is going to cross above, but those are the levels. It means that we, you know, stagnated at resistance. If we were oversold still, if we were this oversold right here, you see how we're still very far away from the yellow line? If we were like this today, at this level here, that would mean that there's a lot more fuel to the upside. But the fact that we crossed above already is not a bullish sign for Peloton. ZOM, these levels are still holding very true. So the 70-86% level at 81.80 acted perfectly as support today. You can see that there's a downtrend. It needs to cross above the downtrend, but you know, this is potentially a bull flag. If we can cross above this downtrend line here, we can see that it's, you know, acting as resistance as well. The other resistance level that needs to break above is 90 cents. So if we can break above 90 cents, then it would potentially mean that this downtrend line has been broken. Sorry, I lied. So it's not 90 cents. Tomorrow it would need to be... Oh, yeah, it is 90 cents. Yeah. So tomorrow the level that needs to break on ZOM is going to be 90 cents. For it to cross above this uptrend or downtrend line. So yeah, if we can cross above 90 cents, that's the next level of resistance. But if we can't, then 82 cents needs to hold on ZOM. But yeah, we did have a nice little reversal. We had a green day today. We found support, and then we had a green day reversal, which is nice. The MACD is still very oversold, which is a good sign. So in the next 2 days, we need to cross above 90 cents. And then we can see how we respond, okay? LKCO, just ridiculous. It goes up, it takes a break for a day, and then just pops back up. So right now, it's clearly not a good time to buy or swing at all, because we made a huge move already. But the next level of resistance is going to be right here at 277. 277 needs to break for it to continue on and retest $3. So from 277, the next high is obviously going to be $3. But yeah, LKCO super bullish, clear uptrend. Let me just draw it out so I can show you guys how the uptrend looks. Right, if that line breaks, then you know it's not going to look as bullish anymore. There's another uptrend here. But yeah, that's what people are going to be watching. So for tomorrow, the level that needs to hold for this extreme uptrend to remain is going to be 263. But most likely 263 can end up being broken. And then the next level of support is going to be approximately 251. So 263 and then 251 need to hold as support. And then those are the levels of resistances for LKCO, right? ATOS. Super bullish, but we made a huge move on the MACD. We're very overbought. And we did, you know, make new highs today as well. Like it continued on higher, which is very bullish as well. We can see that the MACD is very close to where it was when it was trading back here, but we are trading higher now price-wise, which is bullish. Okay, so the next targets to the upside are going to be 728 and 766. So if we can cross above that, then, you know, that would be very bullish for ATOS. But, you know, we are extremely overbought on the MACD now. So I would just be very careful. I would feel much more comfortable buying this around 640. Or around, you know, 660 if I haven't already bought it. But yeah, if you're in it right now, congratulations. Looks very bullish. But we are beginning to get very overextended. So just be careful on ATOS. Matic, very similar to the other cryptos, but it's traded above this downtrend line. So the level of support for tomorrow is going to be approximately $1.02. And then, you know, if that breaks, then the 70-86% level at 85 cents. The next level of resistance, very perfectly, is the 618 level at 124.5. And then the next level of resistance would be approximately 140, which would end up becoming in confluence with the 20 exponential moving average by tomorrow. So yeah, those are the levels on Matic. Overall looks, you know, much better than the other altcoins. And we're still oversold, which is a very good sign as well. So there's that. Comcast had a very red day today. Let me go ahead and draw the fib lines for you. All right, so it was creating a bull flag. And then today, it was creating a bull flag. We ended up, starting to break out of it, but then today was a huge red day. So overall, it's not entirely bearish. I mean, we did hold above the 618 level at 55.37, which is good. And then we did hold above the 786 level at 54.62. So we held above those two levels. But then these would be the next levels of resistance. So we can see that the MACD is oversold. The RSI took a huge tumble, but we remained above and closed above the 618 level. So obviously the next targets are going to be 55.89 and 56.42 on Comcast. So yeah, as long as 55.37 can hold, then I don't see why we can't bounce back. We are oversold out of the B bands as well. So unless we vomit down below the 786 level, then I do think that we can bounce back up to at least 56.42. But yeah, it's just we got to take it day to day. But yeah, those are all of the stocks that you guys wanted me to do technical analysis on. I hope you guys had an amazing, time watching the video. I hope you guys had an amazing day. Yeah, thanks so much for watching and have an amazing day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.